Let me take the consolidated numbers first. We closed this quarter with a post-tax profit of 1747 crores, roughly a 21% rise from what we did the same period last year. The contributors on the profit for this quarter, the bank was the largest amount. We'll come to the bank in some detail as we go forward. But the other ones were Kotak Mahindra Prime contributed 150 crores. Kotak Securities is the other contributor which contributed 150 crores there. The international subsidiaries brought in about 46 crores, and the mutual fund, which is both the AMC and the trustee company, contributed 52 crores on the profits. The life insurance company, which delivered 112 crores of profits. So between these were the major contributors to the overall profits for the group. Kotak Life had a jump in the life insurance premium. We did 820 crores this quarter, which is about a 25% rise on a year-on-year basis. Kotak Securities improved its market share, which has been doing consistently. For this period, we have a cash market share of 8.7%, and an overall, this is a YTD number for the 6-month period. And in terms of the overall market share, we are at 2.5% at an overall level. Capital adequacy, we continue to be strong at 18.7% at the consolidated level. The assets under management, which we manage across the group, is just short of 2 lakh crores, which is roughly about 18% rise over what we did in the previous period. Total advances, if I look at the bank as the consolidated number, about 2,22,000 crores, and we at the balance sheet size of roughly about 3,60,000 crores. We end with a book value of about 282 rupees per share. At the standalone level, we closed this quarter with 1,141 crores, which is roughly about a 15% rise over what we did in the same period last year, and roughly about an 11% rise on a quarter-on-quarter basis. The advances in the bank have grown by about 21% on a year-on-year basis. We've seen growth coming in a variety of sectors. The CV&C business grew by about 40% on a year-on-year basis. The home loan business did about 25% odd growth. The wholesale book did grow about 18% whereas the small businesses, which includes the credit cards, personal loans, and the small business loans, again did a 35% plus growth. NIM at the bank level at 4.21%, which compares with which is marginally lower than 4.28, which was there in the previous quarter. The other income, which comprises fees and the other income there, has also grown significantly over the last year. It's shown a growth of over 25% on a year-on-year basis, and we clocked 1,200 crores for this quarter. We continue to have a strong CASA. We have CASA, we closed the period at 50.2%, which if you look at the previous year, at the same time, we were at about 47%. The current account has seen an average growth. The average current account balances have seen a growth of 22%, whereas the average savings accounts have seen a growth of 43% on a year-on-year basis. If I look at exposures, our total exposure from the way we look at it is about 2,50,000 crores, and exposures to certain sensitive sectors, NBFCs, which stock is about 13,000 crores, but which includes at the bank standalone about 1,200 crores of exposure of the bank to its own subsidiaries, which includes investments in the subsidiaries also. The commercial real estate bit is about 7,700 odd crores, which includes again about 3,000 crores of lease rent discounting. So that's broadly the exposures to the NBFCs and the CRE sector. GNPA, we closed this period at 2.15%, which is down from about 2.47 at this period last year, and the net at 0.81, which is down from 1.26 last period. Slippages overall this quarter has been about 420 odd crores, which is down from about 560 odd crores, which was there the same period last year. So those broadly are the overall highlights. We closed this period in September. We had 1,425 branches, which we closed this period at. So that's probably the overall highlights for the this quarter.
16 million mark.
Yeah, we had talked about the fact that when we launched 811 in March of last year, we said that we were at 8 million customers then in the bank, and in an 18-month period, we would want to achieve a 16 million target and double our customer base. As of September, which is at the end of the 18-month, we have crossed the 16 million customer base mark. That's in the bank.
Thank you. No, we've just now temporarily, suspended 811. Yeah, we're waiting for clarifications really from. Yes, yes.
You undertook, an issue during the quarter of the ACPS, which RBI later said could not be, something that you can accept. Has there been any movement on that front? What other steps is the bank exploring to meet shareholding norms by the end of December? And this is the last quarter before that.
No, at this point of time, as we've said, we're still in discussions with RBI. So there's no progress from that point of view to report, really.
By that you mean you're still asking them to consider your issues?
No, as I said, we are still under discussion, but there's nothing which is what we can come and report back to you to say, okay, this is what has happened.
So are you looking at merger as a way out to reduce promoter stake?
That we've always said, from a way out, meaning this is something which has to be met, and there are 3 or 4 different ways of doing it, and merger is one of them, yes. Yeah.
Considering that there are only 2 months left, what is plan B on the table right now, which is for capital?
No, as I said, we're just now under discussion with RBI, so I think when something reasonable comes out of it, we will come back and mention about it, really.
We just want to seek clarity whether the discussion continues to be on the issue of preferential shares, or is there a discussion?
It's on the totality.
On the overall thing, we are in discussion, and possibly at this stage, we would just leave it at that. Whenever there's something to talk, we'll come back.
So it might be a different instrument, not the same.
I don't know. Yeah, because I wish I could tell you that this is what it is. But as I said, we are discussing at this point of time various aspects, really. Yeah.
Will you give the deadline or will you see an extension?
No, we've already met the deadline. So we've finished from our point of view before the deadline. Really.
Is the extension of deadline also on
No, there are various things which are in discussion. Yeah. So I think at this point of time, like Jamin said, let's just leave it like that. When there is something, significant.
When we
report,
have something
will
to
come back.
report, we'll come back.
We would have come
So
back.
you're
right?
saying that we'll hear something from the bank by the end of December?
No, we're not saying that. We'll come back and tell you when there is something to report. Yeah, there is, at this point of time, there is no development which is what we can report.
But
So
this
it's
will
under
be well
discussion
within the
still.
deadline.
Yeah, it should be. Yes, yes.
Bank's stand is still that you met the criteria within the deadline. It's only
Yes, yes.
now your discussions with RBI will continue on the acceptance of
It's not only acceptance, it's the entire proposition, yeah, the policy behind it, all of that really. So it's not just, don't go by that number for that date alone really. It's the totality of the policy and the proposition.
Sir, given the regulatory posturing of late, do you feel that the regulator would be sort of positively disposed for various things which you might suggest?
I think they should be, because that's why I'm saying we are in discussion, and they are in discussion. So I think you cannot relate this to what the regulator might have done for other cases. Yeah, this is a very different case. So let's see. Yeah, and we will come back once there is something specific to report.
You said your NBFC exposure 13,000 crores.
13,000.
13,000 crores.
That's correct.
NBFCs, yes.
That's correct.
total, yeah.
And out of which 1,200 is
By the way, this is exposure. It includes funded, non-funded, investments, loans, just about everything. Derivative, any off-balance sheet, everything.
in times like this when there are some concerns on liquidity for
Yep.
NBFCs, what is your view? Is it, are there concerns on this? Because the market is basically looking at banks which have got NBFC exposure as well.
No, see, this is regular business which we do with a whole string of NBFCs, and NBFCs are in all sectors really, yeah. And we define exposures based on what our understanding and our comfort with the various NBFCs are. So these exposures have been defined on that basis. So as of now, we are comfortable with that level of exposure. And like Jamin said, out of those 30-odd thousand, about 1,000 plus is our own NBFCs, including investments, equity investments in those really. So
Just
at
as
this
a
point in
matter-
time, it's comfortable.
Just a matter of this thing, about 90% of that exposure is to AA plus.
In light of the liquidity squeeze, are you seeing any concerns in the loan against property portfolio, considering that 31% growth that you've seen as far as home loans are concerned? Part of it also includes the LAP. So are you seeing any concerns on that?
Not really. Not really. See, the liquidity is trouble for a certain sector. Yeah, that doesn't mean that the end customer is necessarily impacted directly at this point of time. It's not that the end customer is not paying and hence there is a liquidity squeeze. The liquidity squeeze is in the marketplace. Yeah, so the borrowing gets impacted, but I don't think the end customer is still impacted
Are you
yet.
seeing signs of borrowing getting impacted?
I think sectorally, yes, there is. I don't think there is a universal liquidity jam. I think otherwise liquidity is pretty comfortable. It's just that that money is not necessarily easily available at acceptable cost to all sectors.
Which sectors do you think it's most
I think NBFC
pronounced
we've
in?
discussed. So yes, NBFC, all different types of NBFCs, there is certain difficulty in getting it for all of them. Yeah, it's not that everyone has trouble. I think some of them are facing trouble, or for others the cost is going up, or the extension is not happening with the ALMs which you want. So maybe people are willing to lend, they're not willing to lend for you for longer periods. In the beginning, when you have such situations, people will tend to lend to you for shorter periods, maybe at higher rates, not lend at all if they're not comfortable. So all three is getting witnessed. But it's not a general liquidity squeeze per se.
Sorry, does the bank have any exposure to ILMs or any of the subsidiaries today?
Yeah, we have some exposure to subsidiaries of ILFS, but these are very insignificant ones, really.
And largely non-funded.
They're non-funded ones, right?
And what is the coverage that you take to that exposure?
Well, from our point of view, it's BGs, basically for, giving guarantees on behalf of brokers, really. Yeah, so it's a very small one.
What would be approximately
So it's double digits only.
and do you have exposure to jet airways?
No.
No.
I mean, you're identifying the potential NPAs or something? Then?
No, so we have the covered ones to talk about.
No.
So why have the provisions gone up slightly up this time?
It's not up from, if you look at sequential quarter, it's actually come down significantly. It's come down.
And these provisions also include provisions on investments. So on the sequential basis, last quarter we had investment provisions. And if you look at it, our coverage ratio, we've improved significantly from where we were a year ago.
And overall credit cost is still pretty comfortable.
So this liquidity squeeze on NBFCs will probably, open up some opportunity for you to lend. You're looking at expanding that portfolio. Some of the public sector banks are probably buying portfolio.
But
What about your-
that's buying from those NBFCs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Or
also looking
buying
at
or
some of
lending
those.
to them.
So we are also looking at some of these. But if it's a liquidity squeeze, doesn't mean that the entire marketplace is available to you immediately. It takes time for it to come up. So there will be opportunities. But you got to compare those opportunities with other opportunities which may be there in the marketplace, and our own risk perception of that end customer segment.
What would that be? Lending to NBFCs or buying portfolios?
It's a combination of all of that, or lending directly to the end customer. Yeah, because let's say home loans, if there are less people lending as home loans, there is some opportunity. But it has to fit within the overall risk appetite for that segment.
So you are open to business with NBFCs?
Yeah, of course. 30,000 crores is there. I mean, you can't say that it is not there.
1-3.
131.
131. 13 and 3 zeros.
13 is roughly
Sorry
about,
that.
13 is roughly, if I just put it differently, if you look at percentage of exposure, it has actually come down.
How much is it really?
So 250,000 is my overall this thing. So 13 would be about just over 5%.
Sorry.
And what was it last year, sir?
It's dropped from about 5.3 to 5.1.
Could you clarify that 13,000 out of which 1,200 is to your own subsidiary?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
including equity.
That's correct.
Including equity.
Including investments and all of that.
And when you say you're looking to buy portfolios as well,
It's all, wherever there is opportunity. See, we keep buying portfolios. It's not that we don't buy portfolios. Yeah, we keep buying portfolios. If there are some portfolios which meet the credit requirement, it is okay. It's not that we're salivating and saying, oh, this is a great opportunity, so let's go after this. Not really that much, no.
Would you have any comment on, the government insisting on relaxing the corrective action norms? They held a meeting with the Reserve Bank of India and they say that it is because of PCA that there's somewhat of a debt squeeze in the market as well. And relaxing that norms for those will help some of the banks come out.
I think that is under discussion, yeah. See, at the end of the day, yes, it limits overall credit availability system, but it's not that the PCA banks don't lend. They've actually started lending to the better rated corporates because that's the constraint which they are under really. So if they are able to lend to a wider segment, credit is available to a wider segment. So today, it is not easily available to a wider segment. So to that extent, yes, easing the PCA norm helps really.
Business banking and auto loans, these are two segments which have grown really fast. Is there a seasonal factor or?
No,
actually
not really seasonal factor. Auto loans, don't look at it, but business banking, yes, definitely. But business banking, like we mentioned last quarter also, yeah, we are seeing some signs of early, increase in delinquency, and hence we are more cautious about that segment, and that caution continues.
CASA accretion, that also has, QOQ has sort of slowed down, the pace in which the CASA accretion was happening.
It is, three and a half times more than the average market. So, I mean, don't say slow down.
So
No,
to get out this,
if you look at an average SA growth of 43% and an average CA growth of 23% is significantly high.
So,
your overall book is also growing.
And what you make money is on averages, not on period end. So look at average
no,
numbers.
it's pretty healthy. It's pretty comfortable. It's very comfortable.
Well, there are doubts in the market regarding the NBFC business, the real estate specifically, the kind of stress that is seen in the NCD real estate. Whether in the wealth business, the kind of NCDs, real estate NCDs which are holding and the kind of reports happening out there. And also in your the Srini's business, in which the kind of NCDs, it has been a lot of talk.
Well, Srini just announced yesterday that he
He's
is
returned
among
almost.
the first one who has got out with a $350 million portfolio, giving a 19% return to investors.
But in terms of NCD, real estate NCDs, have you seen any stress in any of your holdings or investments?
I can't think of even one in Srini's portfolio which is in trouble. Yeah, all of them are doing very well, the remaining ones. See, there are certain segments which are in trouble. Of course they are in trouble. Yeah, and developers are A, B, C, D category. Yeah, the A1s are doing pretty well. The B, C, Ds are under stress. And again, developers in commercial segment, developers in residential segments, there is a difference. Again, geography-wise, there is a difference. Some markets continue to do well. Even B and C category developers are doing pretty well in some segments, and in some geographies. In other geographies, they're not doing well. So it's not a one-size-fits-all type of a decision.
Well, as far as your investments are concerned, there is no stress.
Not at all. None of them really.
What about the performance of the MFI portfolio? I remember a couple of quarters back you raised some concerns about how's that being performed.
It's pretty good, really. It's pretty good. I think the issue with MFI really is, at this point of time, whether it continues to be MFI type of business or there is an add-on of other businesses along with the MFI businesses, and how will that business do? For example, a lot of the so-called MFI type of businesses have increased the type of risks which they are taking. So it's no longer only joint liability groups. It's no longer only women entrepreneurs. It's no longer only economic purpose usage. Yeah. So as you add additional risk classes, you got to go through cycles to see whether the additional risk which you're taking is appropriate. I think some of those will get challenged going forward, and we've got to watch out for that, really. No, this is only acquisition, fresh acquisition. This doesn't impact existing customer is like a bank customer. See, the only thing which is which the court has come down really is you don't use it for authentication.
So commercial real estate, you experienced 7,000 crore.
Yeah, 7,700, which includes 3,000 crores of lease rent discounting.
What were your margins last year? 4.2 this time?
4.21. If you look at sequential previous one, it was 4.28.
And last year?
Last year would be about 4.335 something.
So it's come down.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Cost of
second decimal.
Cost of funds has gone up, not so much on the. Cost of funds would have gone up. I mean, it's more than the differential. The yields would have gone up marginally, but the cost of funds has actually made that
So
impact.
you expect some more pressure on margins, please?
I think when interest rates start moving up, actually margins should end up improving. So you will hopefully see improvement in margins going forward. Really. See, it takes time for under the MCLR regime to pass it on. So even after you change an MCLR, it doesn't, get passed on immediately. There are 3-month MCLRs, there are 6-month MCLRs, there are 1-year MCLRs. So it takes time for it to get passed on. I think in an increasing interest rate scenario, normally margins do tend to increase. Yeah, and don't look at the 4.28 which Jaimin mentioned coming down to 4.21 as bad, because as you lever more, yeah, the equity saving part goes off. So in actual spread terms, actually 4.21 may be better than 4.28.
And business banking grew slower, not degrew.
It was a 2.5% growth on a year-on-year basis.
The lowest among your
It would be the lowest among our businesses, but that's been the state for almost a year now. And as Deepak mentioned last time, we explained about some of that is cautious.
40% CV.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's
So
right.
that's quite a strong growth. So are
That's
we
right.
saying, I know that it's been for the last
It's pretty good. I think most of the segments are pretty good. I think like Jaimin mentioned, the corporate wholesale segment was slightly slower this time. The consumer is on an average 25, 30 plus really. Commercial, like you said, is close to 40 really.
What's the outlook then for the second half? Given that we're seeing some volatility globally, we're seeing some volatility in domestic markets. There are some other events which are non-financial, elections and things.
I think to maintain this growth rate is okay. Yeah, I think it is pretty good.
90% or 80% growth is
And
higher
that-
than the system, but not as.
Yeah.
This quarter we've done 21, and we've always said we're looking at the 20s.
Profit growth is very
No, even the advances growth. is
Advances
20.
growth is 20. But yeah.
So are you looking at buying Axis Bank as Rajni's promoter stake?
No, as I said, one of the options for doing that is a merger, and we've been exploring various options right for the last time we've been discussing. Whenever we've discussed, we've mentioned that really.
Nothing on the table.
Yeah, if there's something again, we'll come back whenever it happens. If
I'm
whatever
trying to
happens,
get to
whatever
know.
happens.
I don't want to speculate to it next.
That's it.
So your NPLs also I think came off a little bit year on year, even quarter on quarter. Slippages are lower than last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has there been a lower recognition to NPL? What is the reason why it's come?
I think most of the recognition is more or less done now. Yeah, so this is the routine one which there is deterioration, that's all really. Nothing specific or
Sell
significant.
any loans?
No,
No,
we
no,
don't sell.
no.
No, you are doing that.
No.
You only buy.
You are bought any?
That's there on, yeah.
How much?
Often, I don't know, but we bought retail and wholesale both really.
Will you all benefit from an SRG?
Yes, of
Best
course.
deal probably.
Yes. Now, how do you know it is best? It's not over yet.
It's not over. I guess almost 5:30.
No, it doesn't happen just now. It still
The
takes
voting-
another 6
voting-
months.
yeah,
Voting
I
is
know.
it.
Voting is
Voting is only the start of the process.
But how much will you gain?
It's not the bank which owns, we didn't have an exposure, but the ARC had an exposure, so they will gain.
How much will it
It's not big, we don't take large chunky exposures really, so we don't gain large amounts. So.
be? Few hundreds to few thousands?
Well, often I don't really know, but it's not very large. Really. Yeah. It's an SR which we hold on behalf of some bank. Really.
How's the ARC business overall?
Pretty good, really,
Has
pretty
it
good.
improved from the last one?
Yes, it has. See, the opportunity is more. See, and when the opportunity is more, you have more opportunity to buy, and you have more opportunity to resolve. So both sides are happening. Really.
Any big ticket purchase, acquisition by Kotak?
See, from a risk point of view, we've always been saying we don't want concentrated exposure. So within our risk appetite, whatever is there, we keep doing it. So there are numerous which we've done. Even this quarter we would have done numerous of them. But it's not one large chunky ones. We don't necessarily, we're not comfortable with chunky exposures.
How much you would have done in the past?
Well, often I wouldn't have a figure.
Make an announcement that you're going to buy something.
No, but it's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process. Yeah.
Still, just to get an idea.
I think we would have bought at least half a dozen of them, really. Yeah.
But these are really small ones.
Yeah, small, some may be 50 crores, some may be 100 crores, but there would be none which is above 200. So it's small, distributed, which is manageable, digestible, all of that.
And the RBI supervisory audit, is it done?
That's an ongoing one, ongoing one.
They come to office and
Yeah.
go out and so has that been that process also?
No,
We haven't-
they don't shut and go off. No, these days supervision is normally
Supervision is an
ongoing.
ongoing process.
So it's not a,
And
it's
there's
not a,
room here where you can sit and check.
well, you may be sitting in that room, so you can decide whether they're on or
You
no.
don't see them here, that's why.
But it's an ongoing one these days, yeah.
Usually we see banks reporting divergences in October this quarter. It's just that this time around we hear
But what do banks do if they don't have one?
they don't have to.
Then, so that's it.
No, we haven't got the report. We haven't got the report yet, but let's see.
So audit is complete.
So we may be one of those lucky ones. Don't have anything to report.
So you're saying that audit is over and written up?
No,
We
we
don't
haven't.
sell.
We haven't
We don't
got. We
sell.
haven't got the report yet. So
Just
we
to
will
add
get-
here, Devin, like we report on SMA2, and perhaps
Yep.
the only bank.
Yep.
We-
So yeah.
At the very beginning, we.
Again, like he said, since he is prompting, SMA2, we continue to be the only ones
The first
reporting,
one-
and it is,
Only one to report even now.
and it's still among the lowest.
Yeah, we're talking about what?
It probably is the lowest.
165 crores on the whole balance sheet today.
Sorry to have to come back to this yet again, but on meeting the promoter shareholding norms, when you say that the bank believes it has met the norms by issuing preferential shares, why do you continue to say you're exploring other options of mergers, etc.?
No, because this is not the end. There is a further requirement. There is a requirement to dilute to 15%.
Yeah, that will be beyond December.
So, but we can, but you don't have to, not December, it's March of, so it's not a small requirement, it's a large requirement. So you have to be evaluating these various processes on an ongoing basis. Even for this one, it's not that we woke up 15 days before and said, oh, let's do this now.
In any case, M&A as part of the regular business, we keep looking at it. It's not necessarily only for this. If there's a good opportunity available through a merger, we will look at it, in any case.
So I have a question from the investor presentation. It said that 77% of mobile banking customers are only on mobile apps. So I just wonder what that means.
They transact only
They
through
only
the
use the mobile as
all their
channel,
transactions are only through the mobile.
not, let's say, net or any other channel.
Completely through that, so not the website.
Yeah. So that's the opportunity and advantage of an 811 type of product, really. Yeah, it's sort of digitally only. And that's the new generation today.
Just transfer, unlike the DOT clarification, there's not much of clarity in banking on what happens to the data which 8 million, almost 8 million customers.
Yeah.
So if something adverse were to come, how big would the process be?
And adverse in what way?
For existing
if you were to
customers.
do a physical KYC.
No, I think what is done, they are not challenging that, really. Yeah, because that is specifically, the law allowed it at that point of time. Yeah, what is stopped really or suspended is what happens in future. But having said that, customers have given data, whether customers can say, please cancel the linkage of Aadhaar, that customer can still say, and if you look at the Supreme Court judgment, customers can come back and say, please cancel my Aadhaar linkage. But if I cancel the Aadhaar linkage, I cannot have the bank account on. So the customer, anyone who wants to cancel that, will necessarily need to give one of the other 5 mechanisms of KYC. So if you can give that, then we will have to cancel it.
So that's voluntary on part of the customer.
It's voluntary on the part of the customer, yes, it is voluntary on the part of the customer.
So it's not like mandatorily the linkage has to be.
No, it's not mandatory. No. I'm sorry? Yeah, I think we do keep getting requests. To unlink. It's very insignificant just now. Yeah, very insignificant. Because customers, it's also a very convenient process for customers. Yeah, it's not that the data is so very confidential. That same data is available. Mind you, if you come to the branch, we will want the same data. We will want your date of birth. We will want your age. We will want your, your gender. We will want your address. It's all available at one place and available conveniently. That's why customers also find it very convenient.
What about DBT?
So, what UDAI has confirmed really is for DBT purposes, there is no problem in using the Aadhaar linkage really. Yeah. Actually, two things they pointed out. One is for DBT purposes, and the other thing they've said is for AEPS, which is Aadhaar-enabled payment services. There is no problem in pinging the database. And then the Supreme Court also has actually said that it is okay for those purposes.
So what happens to the entire CASA story post the suspension? It might be temporary, but
I don't think CASA gets impacted because of that really. Yeah, the CASA growth is pretty routine growth really. That's not getting impacted, no. But what happens is your incremental new customer accretion gets impacted till we come up with some other solutions. And we're working on a couple of them. So you will hear something over the next few weeks. It has to be tech-based, because that's where the convenience comes in. Like he said, he met his target in
so
18 months.
8 million became 16 million in 18 months. So we were doing...
so the average was what, and now, of course, that will reduce?
So we were doing more than 500,000 a month.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes.
But the physical piece will still continue.
Yeah. Not all of that was 811, by the way.
That's what I'm asking. Only one was...
Roughly about 3/4 of it was 811.
So you have more customers on this than the Airtel payments bank?
No.
Not.
Additional 5?
No, I don't know what that means, but...
No, if you look at
See, this
Airtel...
is a digital acquisition mechanism, yeah, and it worked pretty well because customers find it very easy.
But what's your view on the performance of the Airtel payments bank?
I don't know. I don't look after that. You'll have to ask Mohan Shinoy.
It had faced so many regulatory issues.
I think
They've
all
come
the
out-
regulatory
it's
issues
come
are
out
out.
of it,
Yeah, they're back to this, and they're looking at a few interesting mechanisms on the payment side there.
But we're only investors then.
That's right.
We're not in operation.
Yeah, we're only investors. Yeah. Done. Okay.
So
Thank
much.
you.
Please join us for tea. Chai pe charcha.
Good news, guys. Got a promotion and a damn good raise.
Congrats, beta.
Congrats, मेरी तरफ से भी.
From mama too.
वाह, raise.